All righty. Hello, everybody. It's Friday once again. My favorite day of the week. I hope everybody's had a good week. It's been a pretty good week here around the man cave. So we're gonna do our Friday night thing. We're gonna have a drink to start with, just like we always do. Looks like we got Randy Snyder's here with us with some Woodford Reserve, and Jeff's here with some Eagle Rare. If you're having a drink with me tonight, pop over here in the comments and tell me where you're from and what you're having. Tonight, I'm going to get into a bottle that I've been promising to get into for a while. I've actually had a glass of this already, but I recently obtained a bottle of this Jack Daniels number 27 Gold, which is one of Jack Daniels' top shelf offerings. Russ, glad to have you with us. If any of you are familiar with the Jack Daniels line, uh, their offering called Gentleman Jack uh, is a double mellowed Tennessee whiskey. And what that means in the Jack Daniels world is that they have passed that whiskey through their 10 feet of charcoal filtering twice instead of once. So the Gentleman Jack gets that label, and this number 27 Gold gets that label also. So basically, what you have here with number 27 Gold is Gentleman Jack. But where this differentiates from the Gentleman Jack is when Gentleman Jack goes to the bottle, this stuff goes back into some maple barrels for some additional aging in the maple barrels. And I have come to a conclusion about this Jack Daniels number 27 Gold. And I do believe so far in my short history of whiskey and bourbon tasting, this guy right here might be the smoothest drinker of any of those that I've had so far. So I'm going to get into this, and we're going to have a couple of fat fingers of the number 27 Gold tonight. So let's see who we got with us. We got Jeff, Eric. Glad you could be here. Ryan, Russ, Alan down in Melbourne. Good to have you with us again this week. Eric is having Peroni. That's a good Italian lager. I've had a few of those. Mark, William McKenzie, some Corona in honor. I'm going to see Fast and Furious 9 later tonight. Let me tell you, I saw the Fast and the Furious 1. I saw the first one of those, and I don't think I've seen another one. I kind of enjoyed it. I always liked the action adventure car movies, and I really enjoyed Fast and the Furious when that first came around. So anyway, cheers to everybody that's having a drink with me tonight. Gary's up in Asheville, Tennessee whiskey. There you go. Hank, glad you could make it with us. Let's see. Scott. Well, Scott, somebody's got to do it. You might as well be the one tonight because you're usually one up and everybody in here with whatever you're having to drink. Bullet Rye. Okay. Dave, glad you could make it. That's a beautiful whiskey. It really is. This is also one of those whiskeys, much like the Sinatra Select that I have. That'll be the only bottle of that I ever buy. It's expensive, and it's over and above what I'm comfortable paying for whiskey. it's good, and I wanted to get a bottle of it so I could enjoy a whole bottle of it over time and really get a good feel for what that is. But uh, after everything's said and done, that's $100 bottle of whiskey, and my $50 bottle of Jack Daniel's Single Barrel Select. I still like it better. I still think that's my favorite Jack Daniel's so far. Eric, yeah, get the Gentleman Jack out. Gentleman Jack's good whiskey. There is not a thing in the world wrong with that. It's inexpensive and it's smooth also. It's a good bit smoother than your typical number 7. And I learned about that when Tanya and I went to the distillery. So let's get Tanya on here with me for a minute. Let's see what Tanya's into. Tanya, what are you drinking tonight?
Iced coffee.
Iced coffee.
Mm-hmm. It's tastiest.
Mm.
I put a big old bunch of Cool Whip in it this time too. Whipped cream.
Well, tell us about how you made this and what coffee you're drinking tonight.
I forget which coffee it is, but it's one that I got at Tasteful Beans. And it was Indian, I think.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
But you made it the Jura?
Yeah, I made it the Jura. What I did is I put in a pup of my favorite flavor, the butter rum, and then I did 2 shots of espresso. And then I stirred in about half a cup of ice and then 5 ounces of milk and gave that a good swirl around. Then I topped it off. Well, then I took out 4 spoons. I put a dollop of whipped cream in each one of the spoons and started with one, whipped cream to mine, and served these spoons to the cats. Hemi, Meryl, and Lily all
So my cats are going to be jacked up on sugar tonight, right?
So, yeah, okay. It was fun.
All righty. Well.
And then I put some salted caramel syrup on top.
Well, that sounds pretty good. I've been threatened. I know I'm running way behind on this. We've been going to make this Jura video for I don't know how long now. When you get back in town, Tanya's getting ready to go out of town for a few days. Going to leave me here by myself. But when she gets back, remind me somebody that we got to get started on this Jura video.
We do.
Brian, glad you could join us. He's going to he's got his rubs. He got his Man Cave Mills rubs from Atlanta Grill Company. The Briner bucket and the Shoon slicer, nice.
That's a good haul.
You cashed in over there at AGC. I love the Briner. I've got both sizes of the Briner bucket, and I find myself using the small one more than I use the large one. Maybe that's a gadget that I need to bring on here and talk about one night. That would be a good one because I use that small one for brining pork loins, pork chops. You can brine a chicken in that. You can brine any of the smaller things. That larger one's big enough to do typical turkeys in. Yeah, Stephen, I was getting ready to mute you over there. Stephen, glad you could be with us tonight. Stephen forgot that I was going live at 7:30. So, yeah. And Stephen sent me some whiskey samples that arrived here this week that I've tried that were really good. He sent me a sample of the George Dickel Bottled in Bond, which was pretty good, and then an Irish whiskey called McConnell's. That was particularly good. That Irish whiskey was a real smooth drinker also. And yeah, we'll talk about Briner buckets. I'll save that for later, but there's a lot of things you can do with the Briner buckets. I use it for brining a lot of things, or curing things even. I use it for curing pork loin to make Canadian bacon with. That's one of the better things I do with that. Tanya, I'm going to drop you back here a little bit, and we're going to dig into some pictures here in just a couple of minutes. Let's see. Am I missing anything? Cindy, glad you could make it with us tonight. John with some Woodford Reserve. I'm going to have to buy a bottle of that because somebody here every Friday night's got that. I haven't tried it yet. I need to look it up. But anyway, I want to bring up some pictures. My blueberries started coming in a little earlier this year than they normally do. I harvested about 10 ounces or a little over 2 cups of blueberries the other day. I harvested a few more today, but I'm ready to start doing some things with some blueberries. I think the first thing I'm probably going to do is Tanya's favorite, which is my blueberry muffins. I'm going to get a batch of those going here. Maybe if things go my way, I might even get those done tomorrow. But I've got a lot going on tomorrow. We've got a F1 race qualifying tomorrow morning, and I've got a bunch of other things I need to try to get done before I go to work. So anyway, blueberries are here. So if you've got any real cool ideas of things that you like to do with blueberries, let me know what they are. I typically do blueberry muffins. I use these to make my blueberry cream cheese pound cake. I make a couple of different blueberry sauces, and I like to make a peach cobbler with blueberries in it also. But if you've got any really cool things you do with blueberries, let me know what they are, because I'd like to maybe try some different things with blueberries this summer. As I harvest these, I'll end up getting a gallon or so of blueberries off of these 2 bushes I have this summer. But that's where that is. And Tanya got one of her favorite meals this week. We did slot dogs, and you guys have been following me for a while. You know I love this slot dog press that scores these hot dogs. And like I said, this is the only way we do these here at the Man Cave anymore. I always, we get those scored up on both sides like that, and I cook these hot on the grill on indirect heat at about 404 to 450. And I always buy these top slice buns, and I prep those buns with some of my homemade hot dog chili, and I do that while the slot dogs are cooking. And here I'm showing the grill at about 425. I use the Pellet Joe to do these because it's quick and easy. I can fire that guy up and have it ready to go. And this is what these guys look like when they're cooking. These scores that you get from the slot dog slice really open these things up and let you get some extra caramelization surface on these hot dogs. They're just outstanding. And I always cook, well, I won't say always. The hot dogs that I buy are typically oh boy. These that I cooked this time were Nathan's because I couldn't get the Hebrew Nationals. The Hebrew Nationals weren't available. But I normally buy the Hebrew National all beef hot dogs. But today, or this cook, these were Nathan's, which are really good. And then I load those cooked hot dogs onto the buns on top of that chili. And then my homemade pimento cheese goes on top of that. And it goes back on the grill long enough to get that cheese nice and melty. And this, my friends, is the Man Cave dog. This is its own style of hot dog. I don't know if anybody's done it like this before, but it's a slot dog with homemade hot dog chili, pimento cheese. And this pimento cheese, Tanya didn't complain about it, but I'm sure she probably noticed. I made this a little different than I normally do. I normally, when I make my pimento cheese, I season everything with a little bit of garlic powder, a little bit of onion powder, and a little bit of chipotle powder. But on this batch, I just left all that stuff out, and I seasoned it with Lane's Barbecue SPF 53, which is a pretty nice barbecue rub. It's got a little bit of a kick to it, and I like the way that came out here. It's really good, and I use extra sharp cheddar when I'm putting all that together. So that's what we had for dinner one night earlier this week. That's one of Tanya's favorite things that I make is these hot dogs. So the next thing we got to was a pork butt. I'm missing a picture here, I think. This is a 13.5 pound Swift pork butt that I bought on sale up at Food Line for 99 cents a pound. And I think I mentioned that last Friday. when we were on here. I got that pork butt, and I decided, there's the picture. That's the one I thought I had loaded first, but apparently I didn't have them in order. 13.59 pounds for this particular pork butt's a pretty good one, because these Swift pork butts are not injected, and they don't usually have these. They usually have another brand up there, but at $2.49 a pound, this is the kind of pork butt that I will pay full price for when necessary. I like to get the kind that have not been injected with the saline solution, but when I can get it for 99 cents a pound, I usually do. So I season this guy up with my 50-50 mixture of the Man Cave Meals AP Mojo and Pork Mojo, and wrap that guy back up really tightly in plastic. And I put that back in the refrigerator overnight, which is going to kind of lead us into where we're going tonight. I said I want to talk about gas grills a little bit. I cooked this guy on the gas grill. So the next morning, I get up and get the Napoleon fired up. And I set this up a little differently than you might for another cook. Paul, glad you could be with us here tonight. Thanks for stopping in. I took one of the grill grates out, and I took most of the flavorizer bars out that are over the burner tubes, because I'm only going to use the 2 burner tubes on the outside. The 2 in the middle I wasn't going to use, so I took the flavorizer bars off and set my drip pan down under there, because a 13-pound butt's going to make a lot of grease, and I could let that run into the grease trap on the grill, but if I can catch it and make it easier to clean up, that's what I wanted to do. So over here on the left side, I have my smoker box for the Napoleon grill, and this smoker box sits over one of the burner tubes, and you can put pellets in it, or you can put wood chips in it, and if you keep that burner on fairly low, you can smoke that stuff and create a nice smoke. So here I'm just showing this on this grill. It's got lights on the dials, and when these lights are red, it indicates that those burners are on, and the ones that are blue are turned off. And these small dials here in the middle on this grill, the one on the left is for a sizzle zone, which is an infrared grill on the right-hand side outside the main grilling chamber. The one on the right over here is for the infrared burner in the back behind the rotisserie area. But anyway, I had some pellets set up, and I got the pellets smoking here in my smoker box over on the left side of the grill, and I got this pork butt on, and I used my fireboard just to monitor the grill temperature and the temperature of the meat, because I wanted to run this grill at 300 degrees. That's my pretty much my go-to temperature for smoking pork in the daytime. If I'm not going to cook overnight, I cook faster. And here we are, about an hour and a half in. At this point, I opened it up just to have a look at it. And I've also I refill those pellets. I don't fill that smoker box up completely with pellets, because it just generates too much smoke. I want a small amount of smoke for a longer period of time. So I'm feeding it pellets periodically as we go, and I'm spritzing this guy about once an hour to help that smoke adhere to this meat. And here we are about, I don't know, we're probably closer to 4 hours into this cook at this point, and this butt's forming a really nice bark, starting to look good. And here we are getting even closer to the point where I'm going to want to wrap it. This guy, I think we wrapped it. I think the next picture in this loop is going to be where I wrapped it. But at this point, I was pretty happy with what my bark looked like, and the internal temperature of the meat was up around 172 or 173 at this stage. Or no, here we are. This is where I'm up at 172, 173. So at this point, I double wrapped it up in foil, tossed it back on there. And at this stage, we were at about 6 hours. we were 6.5 hours in at this point, before I wrapped it. And the total time I went was 8.5 hours on this. And here's right before I took it off. This thing's got a nice bark on it. It's jiggling like jelly. It's absolutely perfectly tender. And I tossed it in my Yeti, and we rested it for about 2 hours, and then I pulled it apart. And this thing came apart as easily as any butt I've ever cooked. I made video out of this, so if you have a look at Atlanta Grill Company's Facebook page or their YouTube channel, that video's online today. I made a video of this cook because I wanted to actually show how nicely this pork butt comes out cooking it on a gas grill. In the video, I showed pulling the bone out, and that bone came out. This particular butt was an exceptional piece of meat. It's one of the better quality butts I've cooked in a long time. I don't normally buy them that big. That's larger than I like. I like my butts to be, if I had a choice, every one I buy would be 9 pounds. I don't know why. I get great results in the 9-pound range, but these were the biggest ones I've seen. I don't know if I've ever seen a 13.5 pounder anywhere around here. So when I saw that, I said, well, let's get it, let's cook it, and let's see how it pans out. But I wanted to make video of this for multiple reasons. Number one, the main reason I want to do it is because I wanted to share this. Atlanta Grill Company has a huge customer base of gas grill owners because they sell Napoleon, and Napoleon is an insanely good quality gas grill. I don't know how many of you guys have gas grills. If you have a gas grill and you're watching with me tonight, leave me a comment over here. Tell me what kind of gas grill you've got, and also tell me how many burners it has, because a lot of the small gas grills are typically 2-burner, and the 3-burner, 4-burner, 5-burner, 6-burner gas grills, I'm curious to what you have if you have one. Mike, glad you could join us. New Zealand is in the house tonight, so I'm glad you could make it in again. Thanks for joining me. But yeah, Paul, resting is important. I've done some experiments with that. Let's talk about that for a moment then, because I have, with pork, I have pulled pork as soon as I've pulled it off the grill. And I have rested pork for as long as 6 or 7 hours. And I agree with you. First of all, I think it needs to be rested, but I think from my experience so far, there's a sweet spot for the rest also. And I think there's some variance by what temperature you're cooking at. I think when I'm cooking at 300 degrees, I think the rest is a little more important than if I'm cooking at 225 or cooking lower than 250. I like to go 2 hours just about either way. Darren's got a Napoleon. Darren, if you can hear me, do you have the Prestige Pro 500 like the one I've got, or do you have that new Rogue? I'm curious. That new Rogue, that flat black grill, I'm so jealous of the people that have that new grill. I just love that flat black profile. John's got a Weber Spirit. The Spirit's a 2-burner grill. It's a smaller one, but you can still do this kind of thing on that gas grill. I don't think very many people in my audience here have only gas grills. I would love for my audience to have. That's another thing. This summer, I'm going to be doing more on the gas grill. I would like to build my audience by getting some more people. Yeah, okay. Darren says he's got the Prestige 500. Yeah, I think that's the same model as mine. So it's the Prestige Pro 500. I don't know if there's 2 different ones there or not, but that's an amazing grill. The 4-burner, I like the 4-burner configuration because I can have 2 heat zones very easily on that. Or like I can do here, like I did, is I cooked on the 2 outside burners and cooked in the middle. I had my heat configured that way. Beth's got a Weber Genesis. The Genesis line, I think there are multiple sizes in the Genesis line. I think the Genesis is at least a 4 burner, and I think they go all the way up to a 6 burner configuration. Okay, there's a 3 burner Genesis. Okay, yeah, I'm not as familiar with what Weber has to offer in the in that line. So Paul says his Spirit goes as low as 350 with both burners on low. Well, Paul, you can cook with just 1 burner. You don't have to worry about really how evenly the heat's distributed in there, because it's going to convect. You're going to get a convection. And one of the things you can do is, you cook on the far side, cook opposite the burner, and then you can rotate your meat during the cook. So you can still go as low probably as you want to go inside that 2 burner grill. But I've been asked some questions already by people who have seen this video. First of all, as you know, the big question is why would you want to do that instead of cooking it on charcoal? And I don't have a great answer for my charcoal audience. It's not like, or first of all, let me talk about the flavor that I got on this pork. Most of the people say you don't get as good a smoke flavor on a pork butt or a brisket or whatever when you're cooking on gas, even if you're using the smoker box like I was. And guess what? You're right. You don't. You do not get the same flavor you get on charcoal. But I got a nice smoke flavor on this pork butt. It's not what I would expect on charcoal. It's not even what I would expect. It's closer to what I would get on a pellet grill. It's not quite the same as what I would get on a pellet grill, but I do have a noticeable smoke flavor. And one of the things I want to bring the gas grill people into my audience, or into our audience, because anybody that's cooking outside, cooking on a grill, no matter what kind of grill it is, I want to have all those people, to be a part of this fold. And there are a lot of things you can do on a gas grill. And one of the things I kept thinking about all day the other day when I was cooking this, Cindy, you're right. A lot of places where you live in certain communities, you can't have charcoal, but you can have a gas grill. And I was thinking about this very thing Wednesday when I was cooking this butt. And I'm asking myself, John, can you cook a pork butt so well on a gas grill where whoever's eating that pork butt would not realize that you cooked it on a gas grill and they could think you cooked it on charcoal? And the answer to that is, I think I could probably do that. So when you don't have charcoal as an option and all you have is gas, what are you going to do? What can you do to make the best of that situation? Who's got an idea of what you might do if you wanted a smoked pork butt and all you had to work with was a gas grill and a smoker box of some sort like the one I had? What would you do? How could you take that pork butt to the next level when you're not burning charcoal? Anybody got any ideas on that? We'll see. Hopefully somebody will come up here with a comment with something good, because I've got some ideas that I'll tell you about. And I know for a fact one of them is going to meet with a lot of resistance, but it works. Okay, Paul, there we go. Let's start with that, with a good sauce. You're absolutely correct. That's one way. There are lots of barbecue sauces out there that bring a smoky flavor with the sauce. And that's going to segue me right into my other idea, which is the use of liquid smoke. These smoky barbecue sauces all have liquid smoke in them. And believe this or not, Gary's caught on here, liquid smoke. Gary Kendall made a comment there, liquid smoke. Yes, liquid smoke is not an evil thing. It's not like charcoal starter fluid. It's not like something that's evil. But however, it gets a bad reputation in the charcoal smoking community because everybody says, well, I want to produce my smoke with wood. Well, that's great. But in our case today, we're cooking on a gas grill. So why not make the best opportunity by bringing liquid smoke into the fold? So the question here now is, how do we use liquid smoke to add some additional smoke to that pork butt and not make it not create something that's any good? See, Paul says baked beans. That's Paul's talking about putting liquid smoke in baked beans. Let me tell you this. I learned this from Harry Sue. I've told you guys before, I don't know how many times I went to Harry Sue's barbecue school at his house in Southern California. Harry, at that time, Harry's injection, his brisket injection, his butt injection, they all had liquid smoke in them. And Harry's cooking on charcoal. So here you go. You've got a competition, a multi-award-winning national pitmaster, national champion pitmaster, who's putting liquid smoke in his injections, and he's cooking on Weber Smoky Mountains with charcoal and smoking wood. So yeah, Cannon puts liquid smoke in his barbecue sauce. There's nothing wrong with this. Liquid smoke is generated from natural smoke. There's nothing unnatural about that. So the problem with liquid smoke is learning how to use it and learning how much of it to use. It doesn't take a lot. Liquid smoke is very concentrated, so it takes a very small amount. But if you're going to cook a pork butt on a gas grill and you want to bring the additional smoke to that, this is a good occasion for injecting. I do not bother to inject when I'm cooking over charcoal. When I'm cooking, even on my pellet grill, I don't inject with liquid smoke. But I could bring the gas grill butt to a very formidable level on smoke by creating a salty brine solution to inject and having just the right amount of liquid smoke in that injection. That's going to help tremendously. And I dare to say, I most likely, with a little thought and a little practice, I think I could make a pork butt on a gas grill that you, as an experienced barbecue cook, might not know that I cooked on a gas grill if nobody told you. I really and honestly believe that. But, like, that brings us back to the point, well, John, you've got charcoal. Why would you do that? And once again, I'm not trying to sway anybody from trading in your Kamados and going to gas grills. What I'm trying to do is bring the gas grill guys into the fold. I want more people who are cooking on gas grills to step outside their own box and say, hey, I can do this on the grill that I've got. There's a lot of people that are not going to buy charcoal grills. They cook on gas because it's convenient, and that's what they like cooking on. It's easy. They're happy with it, but they don't always. There's not a lot of them that get outside their box. Let's see. Before I got into KJ, yeah, different techniques and getting outside the box. Stephen, have you ever used liquid smoke even when you were cooking on gas? I've got 2 bottles of liquid smoke in the cabinet. One of them is a hickory and one of them is a pecan. So I use them both for various things, but I really do believe that okay, so Stephen's used it. It's not a sin to use liquid smoke. It's not even a sin to use liquid smoke if you're cooking on charcoal. Like I said, Harry Sue's done it in the competition environment for years. I don't know if Harry is still doing it, but all of the paper material that I brought home from Harry Sue's class, there's liquid smoke in all those recipes. So, yeah. And Stephen, I don't think those expired bottles really matter. I really don't think liquid smoke goes bad. I really don't, because I've got some here that have been around for a while also. Like I said, I don't use it that often. But there's another thing we can do. You know, a lot of people use binders. A lot of people want to rub mustard on the outside of their meat to bind that rub. Don't do that. Use Worcestershire sauce and put a little bit of liquid smoke in your Worcestershire sauce and rub it on the outside of the meat and use that as a binder. That's going to help, and that's going to bring some flavor. So there's a lot of things you can do on the gas grill if you just put your mind to it. You don't have to have charcoal, but the smoke, the real smoke helps, you know. I didn't use any liquid smoke in this pork butt that I cooked here this week, but I have a noticeable smoke aroma in the pork that I cooked, which was my goal, and I really believe you can do it. Now, there are other things you can do. I don't know about all the accessories that are available for all of the grill lines, but Napoleon has a charcoal pan that you can use. That I think it sits. I'm going to get one. I'm hopefully going to go visit the guys at Atlanta Grill Company on Tuesday, and if they have one of these, I may grab it. There's a charcoal pan that fits under the grill grates on the Napoleon. I think it probably sits on the burner or on the flavorizer bars, and you can put charcoal in there, and you can actually cook on charcoal inside the gas grill. So that's one thing you can do. There's a lot going on there. Thomas from Norway, glad you could join us. I think Thomas has been with us here before. I think I remember having him in here. So it's late at night. East of here, northeast of here. So yeah, Thomas, glad you could make it. Okay, so Darren says he's got the charcoal pan. So Darren, does that fit? Does that Napoleon pan sit on top of the flavorizer bars and underneath the grill, or how does that pan sit in there? I don't have that yet. I'm gonna get it, but it's a cast iron pan that you can set in there, and you can just use a chimney or whatever to light your charcoal and dump it out there, and you can basically turn your gas grill into a charcoal cook that way. But in our case of smoking a pork butt, yeah, it sits just above the bar. So in our case, we could just have some charcoal burning in there while we're cooking. Don't have to have a whole lot, but that charcoal burning is going to create more of the environment inside the grill that we're looking for to enhance our pork butt cook. And one of the first I didn't make a video of it. One of the very first things I did on this grill when I first got it was cook the pork butt just to see if I could pull it off. So yeah, Darren says you can light the charcoal with the burners. So yeah, that makes sense. So, but the gas grill, I love this Napoleon, and one of the things I want to do with it, there's going to be several more cooking videos coming off the Napoleon this summer. I'm going to get the rotisserie going on this grill. This grill includes a rotisserie motor and a spit rod with 4 forks, so the grill's wide enough you could cook 2 or 3 chickens on a rotisserie on this thing. And I have the skewer wheel for the rotisserie, so I'm going to cook some kebabs on it. We're going to do a video of that. I've got the Napoleon rotisserie basket also, so we might try to do some wings on the rotisserie basket, because this thing's got an infrared burner that you can light up right behind the rotisserie to really provide some high heat there if you want it to finish stuff off. But I'm really, really super happy with the pork butt results I got on the gas grill. And like I said, I know most of my followers are not into gas, and I understand that, you know. And like I said, don't think for a minute that I'm trying to convert anybody to gas. But what I would like to do is I would like for the guys who only use gas to take their outdoor cooking to the next level. I know before I got into barbecue and smoking, I had a gas grill. That's all I had was gas. And the extent of my grilling was steaks, burgers, hot dogs, and chicken breasts. I don't really think I ever cooked anything beyond that on a grill until, I don't know, 10 years ago. That's that's about, I don't know, Tanya. Let me bring Tanya back up here for a second, because Tanya remembers when I did this. Tanya, you remember when I bought that char grill or gas grill that I brought here, kept at your house?
It was a long time ago.
Yeah. What did I cook on that grill?
The occasional steak, burgers, um, dogs.
I didn't cook chicken because
No,
Tanya
because I
doesn't do
don't eat
chicken.
chicken.
We never did anything but hot dogs, burgers, and steaks on that grill.
Hmm.
Nothing else. So, oh boy, Carla's got a blaze. I'm okay now. Let me. Carla's got a great gas grill. Man, those blaze grills are something else. The blaze is. I don't know if I can say Blaze is higher end than Napoleon. They're up there on the same level. That the Blaze stuff, I saw all their stuff at a trade show, and it's crazy. Blaze is a barbecueguys.com exclusive up there. Yeah, Paul says you're getting to the point where smoke is too much some of the time. Paul, I'm right there with you. I'm to the point in my life, even after only having done this for like 10 years, I don't need everything I cook to taste like smoke. Tanya, I'm going to drop you back down here for a minute. We'll bring you back shortly. But yeah, I don't need everything I cook to taste like smoke. And let me qualify that by the very first Boston Butt I ever cooked was cooked in an oven. It didn't have any smoke. So how did that turn out? Well, let me tell you, it turned out pretty daggum good, because when you don't have smoke, you just need to make sure that your salt and pepper's right. Have I ever done any cooking on a barrel smoker? I'm thinking about building me a Big Papa smoker. Jeffrey, yes. If you dig back deep in the Man Cave Meals video archive on YouTube, I've probably got some video content there on my ugly drum smoker. I actually have had several. I built 3 of those things, and the third one, I really never brought it to completion. I like cooking on those, and it can be a very inexpensive. There's 2 things that can happen. It can be either a very inexpensive way to get into drum smokers if you build it yourself, or it can be very expensive. I don't know what the Big Papa Smokers has got a kit that you can buy, and I don't remember what those prices are, but there's a lot of people out there now that have turnkey drum smokers that you can buy, and they're quite expensive. They're starting at around $800. And let me tell you, my thoughts on it are, before you go to that, I want you to have a very long, hard, and serious look at the Weber Smoky Mountain. The 22-inch Weber Smoky Mountain, in my uneducated, humble opinion, is really a darn good smoker. And I don't really know. I'd really have to look long and hard to figure out what advantages you're going to get from the Big Papa smoker other than a name. I learned on a 18-inch Weber Smoky Mountain, and I absolutely missed that. I wish I'd have kept it. It's got a water pan in it. Most of your drum smokers don't use the water pan, and you don't have to use the water pan in the Weber, but I like how the water pan tempers the cooking environment and helps you keep your temperature stable. But do yourself that favor if you're thinking about buying the Big Papa Smokers drum. Have a serious look at the Weber Smoky Mountain. So if you've already got a barrel and you can get the kit and everything you need for $150, you can't beat that, because the 22-inch Weber Smoky Mountain's $400 out the door. It's and it's $300 for the 18-inch one, and it's $200 for the 14-inch one, if I remember correctly. But yeah, if all you need is $150, you can't go wrong with that. If you've got the drum and the ability to put all that together, you're gonna love it. It's a good setup. So, but that's what I'm thinking about gas grills. I'm going to be doing a lot of cooking on this one. I'm trying to find some fun stuff to do on the gas. And that being said, I know some of you guys here who don't have gas grills. You might have something else that uses gas. You might be using like my Rockbox, the Gosney Rockbox pizza ovens gas fired that I have out there. I've got a 3-burner Camp Chef outdoor stove that's gas powered. I've got the Blackstone griddle out there that uses gas. I've got a couple of propane burners that use gas. Ed, glad you could join us tonight. I've got multiple devices here that use gas. So I've got two 20-pound propane cylinders that I keep rotating in and out of here. And with that, that's going to bring us to what I wanted to talk to about our gadget this week. I told you guys about this sometime back. I bought this quite a while back, and I just got around this week to setting it up and playing with it. This is a really geeky and cool, and it works really well. Propane tank gauge system. I've never in my life found a way to accurately and consistently know how much fuel is in the propane tank. The only way to really do that is to put it on a scale and know how much it weighs and know the tare weight of the tank to know how much fuel you've still got in there. But I was watching some videos on YouTube a while back. There was this guy who had an RV. He practically lives out of an RV, and he did a video on this thing that he found, and he loved it. And I said, man, that looks too good to be true. So I had some credit on Amazon, and I decided I was going to buy this. What you see in this picture is a kit that's got two tank sensors, and this little guy down here is a remote monitor it's connected to these sensors via RF some way or another. And down here in the bottom, these are some tank offsets that I'm going to show you. But I also decided to buy the Wi-Fi bridge, where you can monitor this thing when you're away from home if you want to. And I'll talk about this. I wrote a fairly in-depth review of this on Man Cave Meals page earlier this week if you want to see some additional detail. But this is the Wi-Fi bridge where I can monitor it through an app on my phone from wherever I am. I don't have to be at the house. But these are the two tank sensors. The monitor, I went ahead and took those two screws and mounted this monitor on my pergola outside, where all I've got to do is touch a button to get a 5-light indicator of where my tanks are. These little metal offsets here have to go on the bottom of the propane tank. Those sensors stick on the bottom of the 20-pound tank, but they're just thick enough where you don't have enough clearance because of the shape, the convex shape on the bottom of that. So you take 4 of those guys and put them on the bottom of your propane cylinder, and then you stick the tank monitor on there. And I know that looks off center, but the sensor on this guy is right here, and it's got to be on the middle of the tank. And there's 2 magnets that hold that thing in place. So once you have that up and running and set up, the gauge here will show you the volume on your tanks. You can use this gauge, or they have options where you can not have this gauge. You don't have to get that kit. You can buy just the sensor and use an app on your phone. But this is the Wi-Fi bridge, which was fairly easy to set up. One of the things I will say about this, the instructions that came with this equipment wasn't all that great. I had to go to the website to get some instructions that actually worked to help me get this stuff set up. But when you get the app on your phone up and running, you got a real easy look here at what's going on. Here's my 2 tanks. I've got one tank that at the time I set this up was 81% full, which was actually this was actually an exchange tank that I had picked up that I haven't used yet. And I don't normally use exchanges, but I had 2 tanks that are both at the end of their life to where I can't get them refilled. So at that point, I exchange one of them, and now I will get that one refilled rather than exchanging. But this tank down here that's only showing 10%, I'm going to have to exchange it also because it's past its due date. But anyway, you can look at it, and it shows you what percentage of fuel is in there, and it's pretty accurate. And I'm going to show you how I know that here in a minute. But you know, this one, these tanks that you buy that are exchange tanks, none of those guys, in case you didn't know this, none of those come with 20 pounds of propane in them. Most of them have 15 pounds of propane in them, which is pretty good considering this guy says 79%, and 15 pounds, if it had exactly 15 pounds of propane in it and everything was in a perfect world, it should read 75% right here, which is pretty good. So anyway, I decided to use this I took some screenshots of this while I was cooking my pork butt, because I'm going to have my gas grill running at 300 degrees roughly for 8 or 9 hours. So every couple hours, I decided I was going to take a screenshot of my tank volume while we're cooking that pork butt the other day to see what happens. So I don't know if you can see it here. That one says 7:22 a.m. So at 7:22 a.m. is when I fired my grill up the other morning. So at 9:22 a.m., I'm down to 66%. And on the next one here well, these are not in the right order either. I missed one. I left one out there. But anyway, at 1:39 p.m., I'm at 51%. And at 4:17 p.m., when I'm about done, I'm at 40%. So this guy's doing a pretty good job of showing me how much fuel I've used during that cook. So it took me roughly 35% of a tank of propane. It took me roughly 1/3 of a full tank of propane to run that Napoleon grill for 8 hours or 8.5 hours at 300 degrees. So that's a good thing to know. So, you know, if I've got a full tank, I can do that about 3 times before I have to worry about that tank running out. The other cool thing that I don't show here is that you can have this app send you an alert when your propane level falls below a certain percentage, and you can set that percentage anywhere you want it. So this is a cool tool. You know, it's if you've got multiple propane items out there that, you know, if you're like me, see, I've got 4 or 5 devices that I use fairly often, and I'm sharing 2 propane tanks between them. This gives me the ability to know a little bit more seriously about how much gas I've actually got in these tanks. So Alex had a bad dream about running out of propane. So yeah, it can happen. And the last thing I did on my gas grill for a video, I cooked lobster tail out there on the gasser. And what you didn't see in that video was I actually did run a tank empty. I ran out of gas mid-cook, and I didn't know it was going to happen. But had I had this system installed, which I had and just hadn't put it together yet, that wouldn't have happened. So if you are using other gas devices and don't have a gas grill, or if you've got a gas grill and multiple other devices like I have that use gas, that's something you might want to consider. Let me tell you what I spent on that. I spent a total of about $120 or so, 125 maybe. That two sensor kit with the monitor, with the LED monitor that I bought was like $85. The Wi-Fi bridge was about $42. So I've spent, that's how much I spent. Now, after having spent that, what I'm going to tell you here next is you don't need to spend that much. If I had this to do over again, I don't think I would buy the Wi-Fi bridge. I really don't think I need that. This thing, without the Wi-Fi bridge plugged in, I can walk out onto my deck, open up the app, and it'll communicate with my tanks. I guess it uses Bluetooth or something to communicate with those sensors. I don't really need the LED monitor either. That's not a necessity with a smart, if you got a smartphone, and everybody seems to have smartphones now. So that sensor, one of those sensors by itself is like $35. So you could get started with this for just $35, which I think is pretty reasonable. And if you're gonna, and you know, one may be enough. You know, if you, even if you've got multiple tanks, even if you've got 2 or 3 tanks, you could monitor one at a time. You wouldn't have to have a monitor on multiple tanks. So really, if I really wanted to get the nitty gritty with this and talk about what you need, you could get by with one $35 sensor and the app on your phone if you wanted to do that. Because once that tank that you have the sensor on gets down low and you're going to swap out, you just take that sensor off and put it on another tank and take the reading off of that, and then go get your other tank either refilled, exchanged, or do whatever you do with it. So that's a pretty cool gadget in my opinion if you're dealing with propane tanks. If you're going to use this in an RV environment rather than your 20-pound and 40-pound cylinders, the larger cylinders like the 100-pound cylinders, you do not need those offsets on the bottom to raise that tank up any. And also, I don't have them to show you here, but those little metal offsets that stick on the bottom of the tank, I don't really like those. I bought another couple of rings that fit on the bottom of the tank that are like black. I should have had an image here to show you if I was going to talk about it, but I've got a little better solution. If you look at this company's website, it's Mopeka.com, Mopeka.com. You'll see all their stuff. It's a overseas website. I think they're maybe in Poland or they're in Eastern Europe somewhere, but they sell all their products on Amazon. So if you want to look at any of this stuff and get prices on it, have a look at Amazon.com and look for Mopeka, Mopeka, and you'll find it. That's where I bought mine. I did order these tank rings that I bought directly from the company because they actually had them on sale. Had them for half. I got them for half price. I paid $7.50 a piece for these. They're black plastic rings that the tank will fit on, which will give me that offset, and I won't have to use those metal ones. I'm afraid that when I pull those metal ones are aluminum, and when I pull those back off the tank, when I take that tank to exchange it, it might not want to fit back on another one because it's going to be spread out, and I may have to hammer it back together to get it to fit. But I just decided to do away with those. So Sharon's going to make my hot dog chili and doing the Man Cave dogs on Sunday. Let's bring Tanya on here with me. I'm gonna have Tanya answer that question, because typically when I cook hot dogs, not always, but typically I cook the whole pack, right, Tanya?
He does, and they do reheat very, very well.
So yeah, Tanya, if I get an 8-pack of hot dogs, Tanya and I'll typically eat 2 hot dogs a piece when we have this meal, and I'll typically cook all 8 of them, and Tanya will have the leftovers.
I'll take them to work. It's awesome.
Yeah, they do reheat pretty well. You just kind of be careful with it. Heat it on, if you're going to heat them in a microwave or something, heat them low, or you could really maybe even do better, steaming them or heating them in boiling water to reheat those. The microwave is going to dry them out. Tanya, how do you reheat yours? Do you do it in the microwave?
Microwave's what I have access to, so I've got that. Jeffrey, I have finished.
Yeah. That Jura's running every night, Jeffrey.
Every night.
Yeah.
Sometimes multiple times a day. As a matter of fact, I took my nephews to Bo's Bodacious Family Entertainment on Thursday. And after the 3-hour session, of which I was trying to work while here in the bowling alley and the video games and everything, holy cow, I couldn't wait to get home to get to my Jura. I was like, I need this coffee. I have earned this coffee.
Yeah, the Jura's getting a workout. And I'm guilty right now of not having had a Jura drink in a while. So I really like the cappuccinos, and I typically do decaf. If I was so Larry wants to know what the Jura is. Larry, you're gonna have to stand by. We're gonna do a video on the Jura. The Jura is a Prada of coffee makers. It really is. It's a very, 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 very expensive coffee maker. But man, it's good. It's nice.
Awesome. And it does more than coffee. You forget, you can steam milk for hot chocolate, and then there's all the tea modes.
It makes espresso, and it makes a pretty good shot of espresso.
It does.
And because it makes good espresso, it can do a whole lot of other coffee and milk drinks right there along with it. So if you get online and do Jura, Jura, you will find these things and have a look at them. And if you're a coffee fan, you will be able to appreciate what these things are capable of.
Jeffrey, what I usually do for cold brew is I will do an espresso shot. Okay, I'm lying. I do 2 espresso shots, and then I'll just put them in the fridge, or I'll go ahead and add some ice right quick, and it tastes awesome.
Well, cold brew, I think he's talking about actually brewing the coffee with the cold brew process. And no, we don't do that here. I've never experimented with it, and I don't think if Tanya has, I'm not aware of it. It's a 24-hour process, if I remember correctly. How long does it take to cold brew stuff? I don't know how that works even. It's out of my league because I'm not a coffee guru.
Honestly, I will usually make it and then chuck it in the fridge if I want it cold, or add ice. I really loved iced coffee. That's what I had tonight.
So, all right. Well, we're hitting up on our hour mark here tonight. I appreciate everybody coming around. I was not able to get Troy Smith with me this week. I did talk to Troy this week. Troy's busy. Yeah, I talked to somebody I thought was Troy, so it wasn't actually Troy. So I had the wrong number for Troy. Troy left me a message and said, "John, give me a call. You got my number." And I did have his number, but the number I had for Troy was the number before Troy retired, which was his cell phone number that he gave back. And whoever I was calling wasn't Troy. So I sent Troy an email, and Troy's a little tied up right now. He's going to come on with me after the 4th. And I did have a short chat with Chef Eric Gephardt yesterday, and hopefully Chef Eric's going to come on with us next week. I talked to Eric. He said he couldn't do it tonight. He's busy, but he did cue me for next week. So I'm going to make contact with Eric Tuesday or Wednesday and solidify that plan, and hopefully we'll get Chef Eric back on here and see what's going on in Chef Eric's life, and see if I can learn anything new just by having Chef on the show with us. So yeah, I like having Eric here, and we'll get him on here. And that was fun last time. We went way over on time last time with Chef. It's really kind of inspiring having people like that on here. I could go for hours, and I don't want to go for hours. So anyway, it's
and
Friday.
I would like to make one statement. Stephen Hickey, you said that you're going to remind your wife to get you a slot dog to go in your stocking for Christmas. If you will come on this show with John, I will buy you a slot dog.
No, I've got one, Stephen. I will mail you one. I'm looking at one brand new in the box right here. Yeah, there you go. We'll bribe Steven on to Hear Willis
Exactly.
live,
Slot
and I've
dogs
got a
for the
brand
win.
new slot box. Tanya, you remember that? You remember that barbecue place we stopped at up off of 77 that time where I bought those?
Yeah.
I've still got both of those that are brand new in the box. I haven't done anything with them, and I'm getting ready to send Steven some more whiskey samples. So I'm gonna throw the slot dog in there where he won't be able to say no to us next time.
I
How
mean,
about that?
whiskey and a slot dog, dude.
Yeah,
I'm
Steven's
serious.
he's gonna get a sample of all three of these top shelf Jack Daniels and some Eagle Rare and a slot dog. Man, how could you say no to that?
Yes, we are trying to get you out of your comfort zone,
Yes.
Stephen.
Yeah, Steven. Once you come on here once, you'll want to come back, man. It's fun. So anyway, guys, y'all have a good weekend, and if you're cooking on a gas grill, I want you to try something like a pork butt and tell me how it went. So,
we have a question, right quick. The real question is,
it's on both sides, Paul. You do it. Yeah. The instructions with the slot dog say to put that slot dog on a pan in the freezer for about 10 or 15 minutes before you do this to firm it up a little bit. And on that slot dog, hang on. This is what the back side of that guy looks like. And what you do here is you hit this with some cooking spray. You just run a squirt of cooking spray down that, and then you press those hot dogs with it. You press one side, you peel it off of there, you flip it over and press the other side. So yeah, it is on both sides. And no, we're not going to sous vide those hot dogs in here. No. One of the things I want to try with a slot dog that I haven't done yet is putting it in a deep fryer. I think that might be a really intriguing way to cook a slot dog. But no, we're not going to cook that in whiskey.
And definitely not sous vide.
Tanya might not like it, but it would be good with one of my whiskey steak sauces on it. Absolutely would be good. So, all right, guys, y'all have a good week. And if for sure we're going to have Chef Eric next week, I will let you guys know ahead of time. I'll post about it. So, guys, until then, have a good week.